Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, last few weeks we've been looking at the Ford Sierra. We're looking at it again, but this time in estate form. Hello and welcome back. Now, if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, and sometimes beyond those years as well. So if you're interested in cars, car brochures, and of course looking back on cars we all remember and some that we don't, then please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. Now, like I said at the start of the programme there, we've been looking at Sierras for the last few weeks on Fridays. Fridays we do something called Ford Friday, a Ford every Friday. Well, we're going to continue with that actually, because last week I promised we would look at the Sierra Estates. That's exactly what we're doing. So let's throw this book or brochure, March 1987, on the board then. Have a look and see it. Have a look at these estates, because the estates we always kind of glimpse over. Let's have a proper look at them. So here we are. Look at this nice Sierra estate here in March 1987, just when that facelift happened. This rather lovely example, willow green metallic. One of the things we will be talking about actually, some of the questions or some of the comments from last week's Sierra episode. Someone mentioned, why don't we look at a proper colour chart, maybe compare it with the pre-facelift models. I don't have a colour chart sadly. I do have colour names though at the end here, so I will certainly glance over those. Other things we've mentioned in the comments we'll have a look at when we've looked at the estate. So this rather nice example here in willow green, a colour I always actually really liked for the Sierra. Let's start up here, read the sort of introduction, cast our eye over the pictures, and there is another page as well for the estates. So 5 stylish new Sierra estates, all equipped to the same high standards as the hatchbacks and saloons, provide an exceptional amount of well-planned space and versatility. They can swallow loads up to 53 inches wide by 74 inches long when the rear seat back is folded, and have tie-down eyes to keep everything in place. The maximum load capacity is an equally impressive 51.8 cubic feet, and the luggage compartment is big enough to hold 15.1 cubic feet, even when all 5 seats are occupied. The rear seat back split folds 60-40 on all Sierra estates. Choices include the Ghia 4x4 with 4-wheel drive, self-leveling rear suspension, and Ford's potent 2.8 injection V6. I guess that's the estate you really wanted, but certainly not what most people ended up with, of course. It goes on to tell us the load compartment can be extended in seconds by lowering either or both sections of the 60-40 split fold rear seat, and equipped with the same regard to excellence as their hatchbacks and saloon counterparts, the new Sierra estate provides an outstanding combination of style and space, comfort and convenience. So equipment levels on the models themselves are quite comparable with the models that we've been over. Tells us here we can get this manual tilt slide sunroof, standard on the GL and Ghia. The screen glass sunroof can be slid back or just tilted to increase airflow through the passenger compartment. Then shows us some nice roof bars. Nothing if not comprehensive. The Sierra Ghia's estate specifications include an integral roof rack to handle exceptionally long or bulky loads. The sunroof is also standard equipment. I quite like the roof bar. It's a shame they didn't put that on all the estates, I think. Of course, this is what it's all about, that increased space in the back, showing the split seats both folded back. The interior comparable with the models of the saloons and hatches. And there is our estate. Looks like it's been loaded up with oranges, I'm going to guess. I'm not 100% sure, but something's certainly been loaded in the back of this particular example. Let's turn the page. So we turn the page again. It's still featuring this willow green estate version. It tells you what models you can actually get as an estate. So you couldn't get the full complement of all different spec levels for the estate. It was narrowed down a bit. You could get the very base model just called the estate. You can get the L, GL, so no LX here, Ghia, and then that fancy Ghia 4x4. We'll start up here. Let's read about the base models and maybe look at some of these pictures which actually don't refer to the base model whatsoever, and then we'll read the rest of the models, and there's even a little bit of a insurance group chart down the back here. But interesting to see what these spec levels are, but like I say, comparable really with the saloon or estate models. So it starts with that very base model, not even an L. I don't know how many of these were sold. I think probably your L was your most popular model, I would assume, because you hardly ever saw these not even an L models, to be honest with you, although no doubt a very cheap estate if you just quite simply wanted something to move things around. Anyway, it tells us Ford concentrated a great deal of technology on making the new Sierra Estate as functional as it is fashionable. The independent rear suspension, for instance, is designed to provide a remarkable amount of space between the slim line wheel arches, and the tailgate's subtle curve is an important aerodynamic asset. So only one model available for this one, the lean burn 1.6 litre petrol engine, provides outstanding performance. Power climbs to 75 PS at 4900 RPM. You would say it's probably not the ideal model for the estate, because presumably you're going to have a family, you're going to really load this up, or you're going to be lugging huge things around. So again, that's probably why this base model probably wasn't the really right model to choose. It goes on to tell us smooth wind-cheating bonnet sweeps down between powerful, flush-fitting, computer-designed headlights. Stylish colour-tone polycarbonate bumpers engineered to absorb low-speed impacts. Black bodyside mouldings with bright inserts, remote-control door mirrors, tailgate wash wipe, high-security locks for passengers' doors, tailgate, fuel filler cap and steering, big wraparound turn indicators, Lorenzo cloth-trimmed seats and plain Helix cloth-trimmed door panels with storage bins on both doors. Nice to say they threw in that 60-40 split fold for the estate base model. And we get spacious, well-planned load compartments with colour-keyed velour carpet, tie-dye eyes and light operated by tailgate switch. We also get a push-button radio with 2 speakers. So zooming out again, I did say we're going to look at these images next, but I think we'll look at the trim levels first, because really it's not particularly, obviously not the base model, is it? Moving on to the L Estate, probably the model you probably would have moved up to if you was a bit short of money, but still avoiding that base model. It says, with 3 engines to choose from, including the very efficient lean burn 1.8 litre, the Sierra L Estate is a horses for courses hold-all, whose powertrain can be tailored to suit your requirements. All 3 come standard with a 5-speed gearbox. The L brings the convenience of a height adjustable driver's seat to the range and offers the option of automatic transmission with the 1.8 litre engine. So key features there, so we get a 1.6, 1.8 or a 2.3 litre diesel, all coming with the 5-speed gearbox. Incidentally, the base model didn't. It came with a 4-speed, strangely. Smooth, strong and efficient 5-door body with very powerful homofocal headlights and high-tech polycarbonate colour tone bumpers to absorb low-speed impacts. Remote-controlled door mirrors, aerodynamically curved tailgate with wash wipe, full wheel covers, seat trims with stylish Helix and plain Helix fabrics and fully cloth trimmed door panels, clear, well equipped instrument panel complete with digital clock, Instrument panels features include convenient coin box on driver's side, long centre console mounted on transmission tunnel, driver seat adjustment for high, rake and reach, load compartment with colour keyed velour carpet, tie down eyes, tailgate operated light, and we also get a high quality all electronic self-seek FM cassette with 6 speakers. Moving up to the GL, which always seemed a little bit more upmarket, big loads and long journeys are cut down to size by the new Ford Sierra GL's estate space, pace, comfort and low noise levels. The high value specification provides such assets as motorised central locking, which I think was the big thing to move up to the GL really. Electrically operated door mirrors complete with heating elements, and the option of Ford's advanced 4-speed auto on the 2-litre GL. I always thought the 2-litre GL was certainly a nice model to get. So a choice of a 1.8, 2-litre and a 2.3-litre diesel. Colour tone bumpers and black body side mouldings, all with bright inserts. Electrically operated and heated door mirrors. Tailgate wash wipe. Full wheel covers. Tinted glass. I'm just going to move this down manually this time, I think. Screen glass tilt or slide sunroof. Central locking for passenger doors and tailgate. System is motorised for greater reliability. Seats trimmed with luxurious strobe and crushed velour fabric, so certainly a move up to the seat fabrics. Door panels fully trimmed with starline cloth. Illuminated cigar lighter with front ashtray. Moving down, we get excellent storage facilities, include console with trinket tray and lidded box for cassettes, coin box, illuminated glove box and bins on front doors. Instrument panel with enhanced and adjustable illumination. Tachometer is standard, extra sound insulation, and we get that high quality self-seek FM cassette player with 6 speakers. And then we move up to the Ghia, and we've got these long descriptions, and then just for the Sierra Estate Ghia, for reasons I'm not sure, it just says luxury joins forces with laudability in the sleek Sierra Ghia estate car, Ford's prestigious and problem-solving hold-all. That's kind of like weird, isn't it? And then we move on to the 4x4, which I presume what it's trying to say is the Ghia and the Ghia 4x4 have got the same key features, although obviously not the same engine, but anyway, let's have a look anyway. The 4x4 version combines one of the world's most advanced 4-wheel drive transmission systems with the powerful and torque of a 2.8 litre V6 engine. So key features, the Ghia 4x4 estate comes with the 2.8 injection V6 engine fitted as standard. You get a choice of a 1.8 and 2 litre EFI engines on the Ghia. Okay, so it's going to tell you about each individual one on there. So engine's not the same, but looks like most of the other equipment will be. We get independent self-leveling rear suspension to compensate for exceptionally heavy loads. We get that built-in roof rack. The Ghia 4x4 has Ford's advanced 4-wheel drive transmission with high-tech limited slip differential for smooth progressive control of wheel spin. Special 7-spoke alloys on the Ghia 4x4, alloy wheels on the Ghia. Interestingly, I think I prefer the standard alloys on the Ghia. Ghia 4x4 specifications also include power assisted steering, 195 by 60 VR high performance tyres and small spoiler to keep offside wiper in firm contact with the windscreen at motorway speeds, which seems like a very strange thing, doesn't it? You'd think you'd have that, a small spoiler on the offside wiper. Why not throw that on all of them if it makes such a big difference? Why just put it on that top model? That always seemed weird. We also get electrically operated and heated door mirrors with body colour housings, motorised central locking, tilted glass and tilt or slide sunroof. And finally, top quality electronic sound system with power amplifier and those 6 speakers. Also shows the insurance group, so starting with the 1.6 at a group 4. And then moving on to the 2-litre injection and 2.8 injection being group 6 examples. So going back to the images now to this nice willow green. If you notice that the wheel trims, I think they look like more like LX wheel trims, although I'm thinking this is most likely going to be the GL version, so that's a little bit weird. Moving the camera down manually, you know, your typical, you can't have an estate or a station wagon without showing this image, can you? Seats up, seats down, increased space. It's what an estate is all about. Look at the interior. We can certainly see there's a rev counter, so this is going to be at least a GL, which I'm presuming is going to be the same as the green example that it's been showing us all through. Let's see what it tells us. Clear instruments and warning lights combined with convenient controls leave the new Sierra Estate driver free to concentrate on the road. The automatic transmission shown above is available as an option at extra cost. So presumably this is the 2-litre GL Auto. Tells us the well-equipped Sierra GL and Ghia estates have a tachometer and electrically adjusted and heated door mirrors. Ghia features included warning lights for low fuel and screen wash fluid. You have to go all the way to a Ghia to have a little light that says you've got low fuel. Unusual how times have changed. And then just the month before, in the February 87, just a reminder what the pre-facelifted model is. This is also nice to see the 4x4 Ghia estate here. A very nice model in a very unusual colour actually. But the estates were a similar sort of range, so base, L, GL Ghia and the Ghia 4x4. Moving on to some of the technical specifications or points or questions people have asked. One question was about wheels and tyres, so we'll have a look at the sizes. So basically, I mean, whether you was getting the saloon or indeed the hatchback, so the 4-door Sapphires or the 5-door Sierras, wheels were the same. So 5.5 by 13 inch steel wheels, quite a small wheel by today's standard, were on the base model, the L, the LX and even the GL, surprisingly enough. You had to move up to the GLS to move up to a 5.5 by 14 steel wheel. And then, of course, you had to move up to the Ghia to get the same as an alloy. And then, of course, your XR 4x4 model came with that 5.5 by 14 7-spoke alloy, just for that 2.8 injection. So most of the models just with those 13-inch steel wheels, surprisingly enough. I'm thinking about that back to the time. I don't remember them seeming to be so small, but indeed they were quite a small wheel, weren't they? I think somebody mentioned that the hatch and the saloon had a different size wheel. Well, certainly the specifications say that they are the same. So we may as well have a quick look at the tyres, because there is one unusual thing about Sierra tyres. So the base model, the L and the GL, Sapphire and 5-door Sierras came with 165 TR13 tyres. The estate versions for the base L and GL came with 175 TR13s, but the LXs came with something different. They came with 185 70 TR13 tyres, so a little bit of a different tyre for the LXs, presumably because they was going for that more sporty feel. One more thing to point out, that super base model, not even an L, shown here, both as a Sapphire, a Sierra and an Estate, that just came with a 4-speed gearbox on the 1.6, which is crazy to think. When they brought out this new updated model in 87, they were still selling them with a 4-speed gearbox. That does seem strange. That moves on to colour choices. So like I said, I don't have a colour chart, but nice to have a look at them at the end of this show. So diamond white, ivory. Ivory was always quite a popular colour around about this time actually, although you couldn't get ivory on your XR 4x4. Citrine yellow, I don't remember that at all, but it's telling us we can only get that on L, LX and GL. Same with maritime blue. Other colours are galaxy blue, Rosso red, very popular colour, burgundy red, again not on your XR 4x4, and galaxy blue wasn't on your XR 4x4 either, and black. So in reality your XR 4x4 as in a solid colour could only be had in diamond white, Rosso red or black at extra cost. Moving to metallic, Strator silver. That's going back a long way. That's an old Ford colour, isn't it? Again, not available for your XR 4x4. Silica gold, willow green, which we had a look at. Moonstone blue, a rare colour at this time, only available for your XR 4x4. So I think if you did get an XR 4x4, that was probably the colour to pick, just because it would have looked so different. Other colours available, but not for your XR 4x4, are crystal blue, regency red and chestnut, and then they all could be had in mercury grey. Also interesting to note, if we went back to the previous month when it was pre-facelift model time, colour choice all exactly the same a month earlier for the older shape models. No colours added, no colours removed, so exactly the same range of colours, which, how many times does that happen? Very unusual they didn't update any of the colours whatsoever. That was a little bit lazy, wasn't it? And then finally, one other thing that was mentioned or asked about in the comments last week was the interior, how much changed. Very little actually. So we've got the pre-facelift over here and the facelifted model over here. Essentially it was the same dashboard with very minor changes, to be honest with you. So we've just zoomed in on the pre-facelift model and hope the camera zooms in. There it is, just about zooming in now. There we go, sorry for moving the camera around a little bit there. So essentially this was the same dashboard that they used on the facelifted models, although will note it doesn't tell us what model this one is, but we will note that this must be at least an LX because it's got the rev counter on there. And if we notice the clock, it's just a very simple clock, isn't it? As in not a digital clock, they're still using this style. And note the steering wheel, which seemed to be the main thing they updated. So if you don't mind me just swiveling the camera over to the facelifted model, we can see on this model we've now got the quartz clock, and again this is at least an LX because it's got the rev counter in there, but we see that new updated steering wheel. But overall not a huge change in the overall feel of the interior. Yeah, they played around with trims, yes, to give little extra bits and pieces to the interior, like I say, going from a 4-speaker stereo to a 6-speaker stereo on the new model, but essentially it was the same layout. So there we go, the Ford Sierra Estate. I think I covered most people's points there, at least I hope I did anyway, but I think it's time to leave Sierra alone. We've covered it for a lot of weeks actually on Fridays, but I do like both the pre-facelift and the facelift. One person actually mentioned that it possibly lost some of its purity, and that's always the case, isn't it? When you have a Mark II, that original sketch gets diluted a bit. But I have to admit, I like the Mark I and Mark II equally, which is unusual. There's not many cars I can say that about. I usually prefer the earlier example. I think they did a good job of just updating it a little bit to Mark when the Sapphire appeared. So what, next week are we not looking at Sierras? Well, I think we should go back 1 month and have a look at the Capri, because that was the last time, February 1987, the last time it appeared in a full range brochure. So let's have a look how the Capri ended up like, although there is a particular version that isn't shown here for whatever reason. It was probably in a different brochure, but we'll certainly have a look how it ended in the full range brochures. But thank you so much for watching today. We'll end as we always do by saying, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free, doesn't cost you a penny to subscribe. Keeps you in touch with the channel, and of course helps us grow the channel itself. We'll end with the front cover of the brochure that we're looking at today for the Estate Sierras, and we'll add a couple more boxes here. One of the boxes will be for the series we're working on at the moment, one will probably be a bit more random. But thank you so much for watching today. Please join us again soon. All the best and goodbye.